Fearless Fundraisers. I'm Dawn Lego, and it is time again to buckle up for a new episode of Raise Nation, the one and only podcast made to inspire fundraisers like you to continue making impact in our communities and building better tomorrows, exchanging ideas. So whether you're a trailblazer or seasoned pro, you'll pick up the trends that transform your fundraising. Together, we'll dive into lively conversations and chat with industry-leading fundraisers and thought leaders to explore those hot-button issues and innovative ideas. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes while we inspire you to embrace the future of fundraising. So let's get going. I am very excited about so many different things about our guest today, Aimee from the Eliza Hope Foundation. This is a mission and message that's near and dear to my heart, as many of you out there may know already. But I'm looking forward to getting Aimee's perspective on what she does to impact communities, especially with the audience that is the most vulnerable. So Aimee, welcome to Raise Nation. Thank you so much for being here. Should we talk mission and everything that you do? Why don't you start with introducing yourself? I understand that you're the president and founder of the Eliza Hope Foundation. So that's just, title only. Let's get to know the real you. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
All right. Hi, my name is Aimee Darby, and I live in Virginia Beach with my husband and our 3 dogs, which is crazy to say. And I started the Eliza Hope Foundation in 2016, 17, the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. My daughter Eliza was born in 2012, and she was born with intractable epilepsy, and later on she was diagnosed with autism. And in 2016, when she was 4.5, she passed away in her sleep from complications to epilepsy. So obviously, she was our only child, and it was extremely tragic. Obviously, losing a child is the worst thing that anybody can go through. And we only had one child. We only have one child. So I knew that I needed to do something to keep her memory alive. We didn't have other children that would be able to, talk about her when me and my husband were gone. And so I really felt strongly, I felt this real pull almost immediately after to do something for the community that we were a part of when Eliza was here.
Oh, God. I don't even know what to say. Maybe just a moment of silence for Eliza. Hopefully her legacy and her memory and lives on, maybe just in a different way, which isn't painless in any way, right? It's painful, but it's amazing that you can turn that into something. So I applaud that, your strength, your courage, your bravery, and the fact that you said that you have one child just means so much. So, okay, tragedy hits.
And I think in many ways, starting this foundation really saved me. I had a full-time job in military sales, and but I needed something to pour into that had more meaning for me. And so honestly, it was a few days after she passed away, and I was sitting at my friend's house, and it was sort of that's where we sort of set up base and people would come visit. And I said, I really want to start a foundation. And so, when somebody passes away, people never know what to do. So people were like, let us start a GoFundMe page or one of these. And I was like, well, I don't really we have the funeral taken care of. There's not really anything to raise, to give money to. And then I was like, well, we could start and raise money to start a foundation I started putting all of these pieces together on okay, well, we could have seed money to start something. Because honestly, when Eliza was diagnosed with epilepsy and autism, it's really difficult. It's a difficult diagnosis. You really don't know what you're doing. And I just felt that people needed help in navigating that world when they were first had a child diagnosed. So my friends set up this page and we ended up raising like $60,000 or $70,000 right off the bat, because I mean, a child passed away. Everybody wants to give something. So that was really our seed money. I put it in an account, and my cousin is a judge and an attorney, and he helped me, do the 501c3. And by February of 2017, the Eliza Hope Foundation was officially a 501c3. So, our mission at the Eliza Hope Foundation is to provide really everything a child needs when they get a diagnosis, from therapies to extracurricular things to a preschool program. So we wanted to have everything. What I wanted was to have everything a child needs in one place, so that you don't have to go driving all over town with your child, which is what I had to do. We had to get physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, all of these different therapies. There's no daycare for children with special needs. There's no real preschool program in our area outside of like the public school has a little program. So I really wanted to incorporate all the things that I used and needed and put them all in one space. So we raised money, we did fundraisers. And again, it was so early in the grieving process. I just sort of did it. I didn't even, there was not that fear that maybe would happen in other situations, because the worst thing had already happened to me. So failing was not even, I was like, okay, if I fail, I fail. So I think that really is what catapulted me to be able to honestly do it, have not the fear that maybe somebody else might have, and just like go for it. So we ended up raising money. We had a gala, we had a race, all like the normal things that people do in nonprofit. And we just had this community of people that really like surrounded us and wanted this for not only for Eliza's memory, but for all of the children in our area that need it. So by 2018 in June, we opened the Eliza Hope Therapy Center, and that is where I am right now. And we offer.
Wait, dial back. You start. You were a 501c3 in 2017, and you opened up a therapy center by 2018.
Yes.
That's 1 year. Am I doing the math wrong? That's 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is.
I think
I don't think people realize, there's a poem out there, Living in Holland.
Yes, it's my favorite.
I think it speaks to, for all our listeners out there, if you haven't read the poem, whether you're raising a child with special needs, or not, it's a heartwarming poem. And I don't think that our communities, give me your take on this, Aimee, but I don't know that our communities truly understand how the world forever changes when you're raising a child with special needs. It's just it's a different world. Simple things like having people over, or going to pick up milk, or going to a party, who's staying home, who's going, are we cohesive as a family? Are we separate? On top of, the cost. And now another element that I hadn't thought of is just the running around, here, there, and everywhere for, you go to the ends of the mountains to help your child, but it's hard to go to the ends of so many mountains. Absolutely. So is that kind of the mission of Eliza Hope, this therapy center, that come to one place and get it all and be part of a community? Tell us a little bit more about the therapy center.
Well, so we opened in June of 2018, and
Amazing.
All of Eliza's therapists that worked with her during her, 4 years, all came alongside and are a part of this center still. And so I get to see them every day, walk around working with other kids, and knowing that I loved all of them so much because they loved my child. They helped her so much. And now I feel so confident when parents come in and say, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I know what I've got this. I've got this for you, because we've vetted out all of these people. We know that they're great. Because the scary thing is you get this piece of paper and it's like from our neurologist, and our neurologist was great. And he said, okay, here we go. Your child has autism and intractable epilepsy. You're going to need to get these therapies.
And there's no playbook, right? There's absolutely no playbook.
What?
There's the internet, which is even more frightening, right? But there's absolutely no playbook, and you don't have time for trial and error, really.
Exactly. And I joined like all of the Facebook groups and that, but sometimes I found that they were a little depressing and sad and sort of woe is me, which is fine. I get it. You need a place to do that. But I really wanted this to be a place where we could show the joy in everything that these children do, and just show that it's not over, even though a lot of us think that it is at that moment of diagnosis. It's like, wait, this isn't my plan. This isn't my plan.
Living in Holland, right? It's
in Holland. Yeah. It's like literally the most accurate poem piece of writing I've seen, because it's so true. We have all these expectations in life, all of us, in not even just having children, but just in life, we have expectations. And when they're not met, it's really sad. But then when you also,
because you're grieving that too.
Exactly. And then you have your child who also has all of these difficulties, it's even harder. So the amount of parents, moms and dads, grandparents who have come and just sat at my desk and cried and said, we don't know what to do. And I look at them and I literally can say from my heart, I understand.
Yeah.
And we are going to help you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's it right there. We're going to help you.
Because that's all you want to hear.
Of course.
You just want to hear that someone has got your back.
But that's major to run a therapy center. You have, building expenses and utilities and salaries to pay. And you left your day job. You're not a professional fundraiser. Is that right?
That is correct. We are lucky that we were just a few months ago able to hire an actual professional fundraiser. So we have now myself and our director of operations of the center. And now we have someone who fundraises. But I will be honest, she was like shocked that we had gotten as far as we had gotten with not having any. I mean, I didn't know how to steward. I put in quotes, steward a donor, because I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So, of course. Well, why? Yeah. Why would you?
Right.
Yeah.
So
wow. So how did you do it? How did you amass, such great support and fundraising in such short order?
I think it was Eliza. It was her little sweet face that everybody connected with. It was the story. I'm going to be honest. It was definitely the story was, for a lot of people, the reason that they wanted to give, because they really connected to the fact that, she looked just like a typical child. We just looked like a typical family. You probably, just seeing us, you might not have known that Eliza really had anything wrong with her.
Oh, there was nothing wrong with her. She was perfect, right?
That she had seizures all day, or that she couldn't talk. She was nonverbal, mostly nonverbal. So I think people connected to the fact that, oh gosh, we didn't know that. And now we do. And now we want to help. And then when social media was definitely a huge help with just getting people to know about the cause and know about, because before I had Eliza, autism was just a thing to me. It wasn't something that I really knew much about. And I was pretty ignorant in it as well. And looking back, I'm like, oh gosh, I probably said some dumb thing to somebody before about autism because I didn't know. And so I wanted to be the person to say, now it's 1 in 45 kids are diagnosed with autism. It
That
is.
prevalence rate has increased significantly. It was 1 in 54 and now it's 1 in 45. Is that nationwide?
Yeah, yes. And that's just like a few months ago that new came out. So
it's a tough increase. I mean, that's
it
significant.
is a tough increase.
Yeah.
It is. And it's just that we're all going to walk around every day and we're going to see somebody who's been touched by autism in some way. And just knowing, I want people to know that it's hard, but I also want people to know that these kids are so amazing. It like makes me cry every time.
It's okay. I agree. I'm with you 100%.
How special.
We're crying with you.
I can't tell you how special these kids are and how they changed my life.
Yeah.
And how I can't even imagine how I could have gotten this far without having these kids every day, being able to see them and know how much more they're doing each day because of this place. And I can't take any credit for that. That's all like these amazing therapists that work here and these parents that want so much good for their child and they want the best for their child. And people who come in and do this work every single day. And it's not because they had a child that passed away. It's because they want to help these kids. And
the kids teach us so much more, right? I think individuals with special needs learn differently, and that's okay because we have selfless therapists who are willing to give of themselves, probably not even deserving of the salaries and compensations that they should get for what they do. But teaching differently is okay, right? Because what this population of students teaches us about, acceptance and no judgment and gosh, we have to eradicate some of the stigma, don't we?
Oh my goodness. I mean, Eliza would go up. So, a lot of people will say, oh, they don't make eye contact, kids with autism, or they don't want to touch, sure, there are some kids that don't, but Eliza would.
When you met with one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Right. Yeah.
And Eliza would hug anybody. She would smile at anybody. There was one day we were at Home Depot and we're walking through the Home Depot aisles, me and my husband and Eliza. And Eliza walks up to one of the ladies in the little orange aprons that says Home Depot and just says, hi, and hugs her. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if you want her to hug you. And she was like, thank you so much. I really needed that today. Oh, that's so sweet. So, it's just, there's always, everybody has all these preconceived what they think autism looks like. But I will tell you that I know in our community, people now know. They understand it a little bit better. They get down, crouch down and will talk to a kiddo with autism that they probably wouldn't have done that 3 years ago. So it's been
you're turning awareness into action in your communities. Absolutely. So now we need to do that nationwide. Big shout out to the associates at Home Depot who
definitely
took the time to
Absolutely. They brought her an orange apron with her name on it.
Oh, so cute. That's so cute. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your fundraising because, little birdie told me that you've had some really successful events. You've paired an event with some amazing auction items. Yes. You've partnered with Go Charity, who provides zero risk auction items to help you catapult. I mean, sure, you can go out there and gather these themselves. You chose to take maybe, a different path. Tell me about all of that, because I mean, I still am trying to get over the fact that 2017 to 2018 was all it took for you to have a therapy center up and running and thriving. That is amazing. So I know some donations and fundraising has to be behind that. And for our fearless fundraisers out there that are listening, I'm sure they're inspired by their story. We know storytelling. In order to fundraise, you need to go there, right? You need to go to storytelling, social, media, you spoke about that, of course, right? Today, it's all about the social donor, but how did you accomplish greatness, between your auction items, your partnership with Go Charity, softwares tell me about that mix so that our fundraisers could model after you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So our first fundraiser was a couple months after Eliza died. And so it was just me and some friends, and we put together this sort of like blah event. We got all of the
nice adjective.
Yeah. All of these, like, we had gone out and got all the fundraising all the auction items. And I will tell you, I was like, I can never do that again. That was exhausting. It was confused. We had paper that people write on. We had 200 clipboards. I was like, this is
how many clipboards?
So I still have hundreds of clipboards in this center. I'm like, I don't think this is how it's done, but that's how we
this is not how it's done. That's right. Brilliant.
Exactly. So then we decided we had a race, which was great, but I knew pretty quickly that a dinner gala type of event was going to be where we were going to bring in the most money. So somebody told us about Go Charity, and Go Charity recommended One Cause, which was nice that he had that for us. So we work with Darren. He's amazing.
Hey, Darren, if you're listening in, he is amazing. So if you need, if you need to trust somebody, there's so many zero risk opportunities out there that might not be trustworthy, but Darren's not one of them. He's in the trustworthy column.
And I'm just going to shout out for this. That guy knows what people want. And I thought I'm like, how's he going to know? He doesn't even know who's good. And he did. He knew what people would want to bid on. And I was really so pleasantly surprised that he was so in touch with donors and what they want and what they, what they're going to want to bid on. And it was amazing. It really has been amazing because it's been we've done 3 events with him now. Mm-hmm. Each year we've done more.
Annual. So you don't do 3 in one year. You do, that's an annual event.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've used Go Charity the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also you had,
One Cause.
One Cause software. Okay.
Yep.
So good combination. Is that the trifecta there?
Great combination. Yep. We used the first year, I think we used a different software company, but then Darren was like, no, okay, Darren. I trust her. I trust. That's what it's all about. Relationships in sales, in all of this. It's really about relationships. And I have this relationship now with Darren. He knows why we're doing this. He's been to our center. He knows us now, and it's very personal for him. So it's personal for him because he wants us. He wants people to raise their paddles. He wants people to bid on all of these items. In no way do I ever think, oh gosh, he's probably doing that because I know why he's doing it. He's doing it because he believes in what we're doing and he wants for us to be successful. And to me, that's the kind of partnerships that are the most amazing. And so I think that every year I've learned a little bit more about, how to do this, how to raise money at these events. And COVID was tough because we had to cancel our event. Our event was scheduled for March 12th and everything locked down like March 9th. So it was lit. I mean, we were like, do we have it? Do we have it? I don't know. And that was a huge chunk of our revenue for 2019.
Yeah.
And so
2020.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did do an online. Darren had us do an online, which we did great. It wasn't like an in-person, but that was okay. We've really we've got it down. I mean, we had our event in October, the end of October, and we already have our new event date for next year. We just started planning it right after that we gave
roll it from one right into the other.
Because it's all fresh.
Is it going to be in person? Are you going back to in person or are you staying virtual?
No, we did in person this year. So it was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to, in person is the way to go right now for us.
Okay.
So it's, we did all the gimmicky kind of things that, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think the best thing for us is just the auction, the silent auction. They really bring people in. They're like, oh, I wonder what's going to be at the Hope Shines Gala this year. Oh, I wonder what we're going to bid on. We had one girl who won a trip last year. She called us from the trip and said,
oh my God,
are you going to have a trip at this year's event? And she bid on the trip this year and won. I mean, it was like, this is crazy. And
it's not crazy. You're doing really good. You got a good mix of good people, right? Sure. And yeah.
And I know you don't want to like put all your eggs in one basket and think like, oh, the gala is the only way we're going to bring in money, because after COVID, it was like, okay, we have to definitely have other ways to raise money. And that's why we have a professional fundraiser now.
Yeah.
But the gala, I mean, it's not even just the fundraising. It's about getting our mission and our story out there to people that might not, we have a lot of people that bring, they'll buy a table and then they'll bring employees or whatever. And then they, it's just everybody learning about it and wanting to give to something that they can see some results, that they can see a child in swim lessons because they gave $100, or a child going to camp that they usually wouldn't have been able to, or participating in our Hope Stars soccer. Like all of these things that just are readily available for a typical child that aren't readily available for our kiddos. And I wanted to have a family be able to wake up in the morning on a Saturday and put a jersey on and have their kiddo play soccer or basketball. I wanted them to be able, we live at the beach, we're in Virginia Beach. I wanted them to have swim lessons that were specifically tailored for a child with autism, that it wasn't just, somebody teaching a child like they would teach a typical child. I wanted it to be specific to them because they deserve that. They deserve to learn how they best learn. And those are all the things. So when people hear that, when we speak and when we have somebody at the gala a parent talk about their, what they've gone through and how the Eliza Hope Foundation has helped, people are like, throwing money. They're like, literally, we had a guy come up to me and say, I brought $1,700 cash tonight. And I said I wasn't leaving with any of it. And he just like gave me money. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
Well, we can help you out with that, sir.
Exactly. And then,
wow.
Having all the best thing is when the people are raising their paddles and then you have like Darren's team and One Cause and they're all on the side and they're watching and they're writing and they're typing into their iPads, like everybody and they're like, slow down. They're like looking at us like, tell them to slow down. There's so many people giving. And I'm like, well,
that's a good problem to have, right? That's a good problem to have.
It really is.
So do you have a success story for me as far as, your impact? I mean, it seems like you do so many things. So aside from being a therapy center where you're able to do the speech and the occupation and the physical and the behavioral, right? The ABA therapy and everything that goes into it. But then you also have, extracurricular, recreation. And I mean, your programming is amazing. Yeah. What's one success story? What's one child, without mentioning names or anything to protect privacy? What's a story that comes to mind that you've helped a child or a family? We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. Gosh, there are so many, but okay, I have two. One's real short and another one is kind of short. So we started Hope Stars soccer and we had a few. It's the age is 3 and up. So literally you can be any age, and the older ones help the younger. And it's worked out really well because we've done it 2 years in a row now. So we had a group of older boys, all with an autism diagnosis, different levels, but they really became friends. And they're the 3 moms and the 3 boys. They were, every time they would see each other every Saturday morning, they would get together and they would like high five each other, and the moms would talk, and they met because all of them go to different schools. They met there on the sideline on the field. And so they were excited to have each other to talk to. But then these boys were excited. And one of the boys, his name's Steven, said to his mom, I can't believe I finally found kids just like me. And
mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop. So the very last day of soccer, we had our like medal ceremony, and I gave out all the medals to all the kids, which is literally like my favorite thing to do because they get so excited. And so one of the boys, and all of the boys, they didn't like, I would go up and talk to them, and they were like 12-year-old boys. So we all know what 12-year-old boys are like. They were like that. They weren't like trying to chat with me, but they acknowledged me.
No typical 12-year-old boy is trying to chat with you either.
No, yeah, exactly.
You were an acknowledgement.
Exactly. So I gave all the medals, and I'm standing there. I think I'm giving the last medal, and one of the boys in the little group of 3 looks at me and goes, like raises his hand, and I go, yeah. And he goes, can we come up there? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, literally I can feel my like jaw getting tight because I'm like, I'm going to start crying. And him and the 2 other boys walk up, and they were like, thank you, Hope Stars. And they put their hands together like this, and they went 1, 2, 3, Hope Stars. And like cheered. And I was like,
unscripted.
What? Unscripted. I was like, did somebody get that on camera?
Please, somebody. Do we have a photographer, videographer? Somebody got that. Oh my God. I wish I was there for that.
Special thing to me because, again, 12-year-old boys, like they're not trying to get emotional or be anything other than 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And the fact that they made friends, they said Hope Stars, they wore their jersey every Saturday. It was probably that. I'm going to just leave it at that. That was
wow. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just love that. So
yeah.
what does the foundation need most? Of course, donations, right? But what else, what are the other opportunities to get involved and for giving aside from just the monetary?
Yeah, we always love to have volunteers. That's always great. My dream is to have Hope Stars like all over the country, where that Hope Stars is like the sports league for kids on the spectrum, any level, any age. And, with our Hope Stars, the way we started, we involved physical therapy, speech, and OT, so that there are kids that are nonverbal that can come, and our speech therapist is there and has cue cards and all the little cards, and like just to make it therapeutic as well as fun. And so that the parents don't have to chase their kids around.
So you're not putting a square peg in a round hole. You're not saying, okay, this is typical soccer, and we're going to, try to get this population of kiddos to conform. You've actually taken soccer and said, okay, you know what? We're going to flip it on its head and meet the needs of these kiddos so that their experience is optimized, right? And so you're putting square pegs into square holes. That's exactly amazing. So for all of you people out there that want to get involved, or you're hearing this story, so Hope Stars National.
Yeah,
what a concept.
Let's do it.
Let's get that message and that word out. Oh my gosh, I can talk to you for hours. I know. This is so wonderful. Well, how do we find? I think we only have a little bit more time. Okay. How do we find you? Of course, your website, social. I think you mentioned. Yep. But well, you know what? Let's dial back. Who do we want to shout out? So no disrespect to your new FTE. PE who's, a fundraising professional, but I think I need to officially coin you a fundraiser because
I kind of am close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you have two fundraisers, but who else are we shouting out? Anybody come to mind, a volunteer? Anybody on your team? Who do you want to give a big shout out to?
Shelly,
Shelly.
She's my ride or die. She's been with me since day one. She knew Eliza really well. And she was one of the first people I was like, would you do this with me? And she was like, yeah, I will do this with you. So
wow, Shelly, we want to applaud you for rising to the occasion and to the opportunity. So thanks, Shelly.
All the therapists that just took a chance on leaving their comfortable.
I know. I think about that. Ouch. Yeah.
And did this with me. It's amazing that they took a chance and it's been really.
You're doing a lot of things right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we find you? Give us.
ElizaHope.org.
Mm-hmm.
That's our website. And then the Eliza Hope Foundation on Instagram, Facebook. And you can come to Virginia Beach and you can see us too and come take a tour of our center anytime.
Virginia Beach, doors wide open anytime.
Wide open anytime. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we're going to have to check in again with you, if you don't mind, because we certainly want to hear if you can do such amazing things from 2017 to 2018. I don't know. I can't imagine when we check in with you again what that's going to look like. So you've been so inspiring.
Thank you, One Cause and Go Charity for really supporting us and helping us with these galas because they're huge. They're huge events and it's a lot of work. And the day of is I am running around wait, what am I supposed to be doing? And the fact that we can feel confident that they're, checking people in and doing all those things is hugely helpful. And I'm not sure how nonprofits did galas before these kinds of platforms were.
Well, that's why we exist. That's why One Cause is here. We want to help further missions, not get people into 200 clipboards, right?
Exactly. 200 clipboards.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's been such a pleasure. I wish we had more time, but we're going to invite you back for an encore performance. Fearless Fundraisers. That's about all we have time for today. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's Raise Nation topic and your daily dose of fundraising inspiration. Tune in for a new episode release every Thursday. That's Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, be sure to listen to all the episodes on Raise Nation Radio and follow on the channel that you like the most. We're on demand at onecause.com, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, and of course, Spotify. Fundraisers are doing amazing things to build better tomorrows for our communities. The stories, as you just heard, are awe-inspiring. You don't want to miss a single episode. I would like to thank our sponsor, One Cause, for making this episode possible. One Cause is driving the future of fundraising with easy-to-use software solutions that help nonprofits connect with their donors. So be sure to check them out at onecause.com and visit the resource tab on their homepage for a broad catalog of ebooks, blogs, success stories that you will surely find helpful. A huge shout out to Aimee from the Eliza Hope Foundation. A huge shout out to Shelly and Eliza for the inspiration. I really appreciate, Aimee, you sharing your very expert fundraising and authentic voice. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. And thank you so much to our audience. We love that you listen in. For today, that is a wrap. Until next time, I'm Dawn Lego, and this is Raise Nation Radio. Stay fearless out there.